listeners, and welcome to Mars Musings of this week. This week, really, the topic is all about rituals. I am super excited because in Lisbon we are preparing for the launch of ritual boxes officially, finally, and it's birthing into the world. And for me, I just wanted to talk about the importance of rituals, how it's come through, and how it's just landing. This weekend I've been in tea ceremonies with Buddha, my tea teacher, and he really talked about bringing ceremonies as well back into our lives, and that really linking back to ritual boxes, and the whole process of it being born has really been through tea ceremonies. Liz and I, when we work together, we drink a bowl of tea before we really dive into the project. It's really come as the foundation of what ritual boxes represents and what rituals come back into our lives. In our modern day fast-paced lives, even I feel it, go constantly, of work, kids, family, this and that. We oftentimes forget about ourselves as women, and most importantly, we forget about rituals, we forget about self-care, we forget about those moments to tune back in. And I feel like modern day society has completely lost rites of passage for womanhood. The fact that we move through our first moon, into the lover, into the queen, into the mother, into the sage. And as we don't celebrate these processes, as women, we also don't move through those cycles. And that's where I feel jealousy, revenge, envy, comparison, all of this comes from because we're not taking our individual place in where we are in our cycle. Let's say if we were completely embracing the sage, we might not have to do Botox or other things to try and stay young, but we would be really willing to drop into the role of the wisdom keeper and share our wisdom to the younger women. So Ritual Boxes has really tried to embody this, to bring rituals back into everyday life at each stage of the womanhood journey that we find ourselves in. And it's not only, okay, you have to do what Ritual Boxes says, let's say, but what I want to emphasize and bring to the world is rituals again, is rituals in every part of our lives. It might come from your own society, from your own background, it might come from cultures, from religions. We used to have a lot of celebrations, rites of passage and rituals where we used to be in our, let's say, our cultural centers. I grew up a lot with Hindus around me, Jewish friends, so we celebrated Shabbat, we celebrated all the holidays, Passover, also the Christian holidays. We used to have this, maybe communion, all these different parts. But as we're living more in modern day life, these are falling away. So how do we bring that back in? In Ritual Boxes, I'm really proposing this as a rite of passage of the woman's journey. So we start as a maiden with our first moon. We have rituals around that and really honoring that moment. Because I feel as a woman, our disconnect really starts from that moment where our periods are, for example, completely shunned upon. It becomes a pain. You're embarrassed about it. It's shame. And instead of really embracing and saying, wow, now I'm a woman, let me celebrate, let me understand my cycle. It took me such a long time to understand my own cycle, let alone people around me, to really know how to work with this. And that's how my work has also evolved. But that's really the first one, the maiden, really knowing yourself, celebrating that first moon. The second one is the lover, really embracing that moment of exploration, of knowing your womb, knowing your yoni, honoring this. We have yoni steaming as part of this, but also really relating to it in a new way. A lot of us might have had experiences where we've been penetrated or something has happened that hasn't really been fully aligned with us. And the idea of that one is to really honor that connection to the womb and to really also honor our yoni in those spaces. The queen box that comes as like the full, I would almost say, embodiment of the woman. Really, the idea of this is knowing who you are. Not needing to be loved from the outside, not living for masks, expectations from society, from family, from other things, but really tuning back into who you are as a woman, grounding into this and embracing that part of you. The mother is a mother's blessing box to really honor the mother, that passage into motherhood, which is so important. Started with my own passage, but then all my friends around me, and really spreading that, because no woman understands another woman unless you're a mother. And it's really a change of a woman. I feel like when the child is born, a mother is born, a whole nother woman. It's really honoring this phase and being there for the mother. And finally, the sage. For me, one of the most beautiful ones that has been born through the tea ritual is 2 bowls of tea. 1 bowl for the sage and 1 bowl for the younger woman. So we close the cycle of womanhood, and the sage shares her wisdom with a younger woman, because in the sagehood is really where all the life experiences is, and where we can really just honor the elder and also really pour, and I would almost say get filled with her wisdom, the wisdom of herself, the wisdom of nature, the wisdom of tea, and really just that presence and quietness together as women. So this whole journey has been born into ritual boxes, but the main thing I want to emphasize is rituals, is bringing that back into your daily life, is taking those moments for yourself, either if it is a rites of passage, a passage moment, such as one of these that you might be living. By the way, in the Queen, that box can also be used for marriages and others. So there are passages we go through. Or if it is just in daily life, such as tea drinking rituals, yoni steaming rituals, moon caring rituals, when you are bleeding, to really take that time out to nurture yourself, that you can come back in full force when you are ready to step back out and your cycle is bringing you around. So really, this is the idea of the womanhood journey, and also bringing rituals back in. So this week, I'm really excited to be launching this in Lisbon. I have done a shout out, so if any of you are in Lisbon, please join me. Otherwise, I'm hoping that this will spread into a movement of rituals. So a ritual movement for women to embody rituals again, for us to bring these back into modern day life and really hone in into the women we are. Starting with women, of course, starting with us, and then spreading these into our families, people around us, friendship groups, and beyond. To bring back that presence, to bring back these moments of stillness where we can tap back into ourselves. I would love to hear from you. What rituals do you live with? Maybe what moments do you connect back to yourself? Or what celebrations do you have maybe in your cultures that can also be embodied in this? One woman gave me feedback saying that she would love to have, for example, a box that is also for women who are not necessarily having children, not mothers, but birthing other things in the world, deciding on other life paths. And there's so many ways to go. So please, I'm really open. I want to hear from you, but also let's connect, collaborate, and bring this back into our lives. If it's not just for us, then for the loved ones and family around us.